My name is Paul Garcia. I am the owner of Caramel Lunettes in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I make the most beautiful custom eyewear in the world. Now, that's kind of a bold claim to make. To put this in perspective, there's thousands of optical shops in the world. They can all sell you for all intents and purposes what you could consider to be a pre-produced frame. I say that respectfully because there's a lot of amazing frame designers in this world who make beautiful eyewear, and there's hundreds of shops who are formidable and bigger and more beautiful than mine with inventories that I couldn't even imagine. But on one hand, you have technicians who will cut lenses and put them into frames, and then you have artisans who do things like faceting and laser engraving and things of that nature. And then you have me. My journey starts just about 20 years ago, and I was fresh out of high school and started in a laboratory with a guy who was really cool. He taught me all the fundamental skills that you needed to be an optician. And somewhere along the line, I was enchanted by the mathematics and the geometry involved in making a set of glasses. I think there's something really elegant about it. In 2005, I was hired at a company called Charlotte's Optical by the original owner, and she was very particular. She handpicked everybody that she wanted to work in her store, and we all had a specific strength. Mine was in fabrication and also in my background in frames and selling luxury eyewear. I was groomed to be the successor of this store. In 2015, I was all but to sign the note on this business, and what was supposed to be me taking it over wound up being a closure, mostly due to timing and circumstances and some liabilities that I couldn't evade. And there was a very large outpouring. We were a staple in our community. We were an institution for fine eyewear, and before us there was really nobody here who sold the type of product that we sold that would give such a first impression. Watching it go down was probably one of the hardest things that I've had to do. I watched my store go from being at the height of its game to falling apart in an instant in my hands. This isn't a woe is me story, but before we went down, I had every unimaginable issue. Our equipment went down, our carpet got ripped, all the lights went out. We had a lightning strike that took out all my computers, even blew out the phones. My store went down. Sometimes you just feel like the universe is against you. And in mid-2016, in a serendipitous fashion, kind of a Cinderella story of events unfolded, and I was lucky enough to manage to garner enough funding to reopen my store and to continue our saga. In this area of the industry, what makes it so complicated, to give you an idea of the scope of what it takes to make a set of glasses like this, most respectable optical shops who cut their own lenses have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on equipment, myself included, on machines that cut things that are accurate to within 1/100th of a millimeter. There's very little room for mistake. And to cut things by hand requires a whole nother skill. The first piece that I made that really kind of put me in the limelight was during a contest for a very well-known trade magazine. They were having their 25th anniversary, which coincided with the 25th anniversary of the biggest exposition that we have in the United States. We entered a piece in, and the next thing you know, we got a phone call that said that we had gotten top honors. It was amazing to me because when I got to Expo and went to do my photo shoot, I had found that the piece that I had was ruined because they cleaned it so much, to which I replied, why, I think was the best question for that. And their answer was that so many people were curious to know how I made it that they had to take it out and show people. That was definitely a highlight in my career, and everything kind of snowballed from there, I think. Probably the best known custom piece I made was the button frame. I made that as part of a collection of 3 different glasses that I made because I was commissioned by a magazine to make a celebratory piece for their 40th anniversary. The button frame was kind of just a mock run of some of the things that I've done. When I posted it online to get a critique, it just kind of caught fire. That was kind of unusual for me, but nonetheless, we have the button frame. Of the 3 pieces that I made for this trade magazine, the most elaborate one was the 2020 piece that I did. What you have here is a set of glasses that has over 200 drill points and over 200 hand-set stones inside of white gold bezels. Every single aspect of that was done entirely by hand, from milling out the shape to refining all the edges and setting the stones was all done by hand. That was probably one of the most lengthy projects that I ever had to deal with, but was unmistakably one of my favorite. I think the most unique piece that I made was the butterfly piece. It was dubbed Her Majesty. The unique thing about this piece, I think, is the story that goes along with it. One day, upon arriving at my house after work, my wife and children were nursing back to life this poor monarch butterfly. It struck me as odd that my wife would say that she heard it make a noise. But as sure as the bluebird sings, I knelt down and listened and heard this butterfly make what had to have been the faintest little chirp that I've ever heard in my life. And almost instantly, I was reminded of a poem that I had read at my local library in one of my favorite books. And in this poem, they gave anthropomorphic qualities to some of the animals. One of the lines read that the monarchs would whisper amongst each other about the coming of autumn. And all of a sudden, I realized that this significant moment I would never have realized again had it not been for my wife and children. And I thought, you know, it was sentimental enough for me to want to immortalize this poor butterfly. It certainly had value to them, and I think that it had value to me. So after this monarch passed away, I carefully took the wings off of it and solidified them and purposely made what would be the most complicated set of glasses I ever made in my life. If you can imagine working with materials that have the tensile strength of a saltine cracker, you can get an idea of what it took to put this piece together. You know, it's much more than just sticking things to lenses. Any idiot can take super glue and glue something to a lens, but to build a lens that will receive those elements is a whole nother story. You have a groove down the edge of the lens that is actually a multitude of different colors. It was painted in layers so that you would have a different color on the outside and a different color on the inside. So depending on what angle you look at it on, you will see purple, you will see blue, you will see gold, you will see bronze. I think my closest competition is major laboratories. I'm a one-man show. To be able to create a piece that some of the biggest and most respected laboratories in the world can't complete, to me that says something. I think the goal of this video is to put our industry in the limelight a little bit. You know, I'm kind of like the Lorax, and I speak for the glasses, I speak for my craft, I speak for my trade. You know, we don't have a very big voice. This is our stage, and I think that the story needs to be told. I think if you can have a show that talks about cutting down trees or making cakes, it can just as easily be custom glasses. I mean, and if you think about it, if you want a cake to commemorate an anniversary or a special event, you go to Carlo's Bakery. If you want a motorcycle, you go to Orange County Choppers. If you want a beautiful set of glasses, something that you've never seen before, something that will never be made again, you come and see me. Now, I've been told a few times that you're only as good as the machine you have, which in some respects is true. And knowing that you will only quote unquote be as good as the machine you have kind of started the whole movement for me of doing everything by hand. I have a very, very large respect for the people in my industry. Now, I'm a very humble person. I don't go around tooting my horn about the work that I do, but in my corner of the world, in my corner of the industry, this is my arena, and this is where I'm king. I believe that there's still good in this world, and I'm engaging the world with what I do because I want to be able to continue the story and to let it continue well after I'm gone. I want everybody in the world to be a part of our story. Interact with me, call us, come be a part of it. Colorado Springs deserves to be on the map. Let's see. What celebrities would I like to fit with glasses? Number one, TIP. I saw on social media the other day, there was a meme that said that every time an injustice was done to humanity, your hat tipped another 8 degrees. That was not very nice. Rest assured, however, if you come to me to get a set of glasses, I bet you your hat would tip itself back 8 degrees. But honestly, I would love to shake your hand. I think you and I could carry on a conversation. I have a lot of respect for you. Speaking of respect, let's see. Ellen DeGeneres, I am calling you out. While I might not deserve to meet you in person to shake hands with you, my wife most definitely does. She lives by your words every day, and she is indeed kind to one another. Let's see. American Pickers. You guys travel all over the place. If you come to Colorado, swing in the shop. Giorgio Tsoukalos. You got the hair, brother. You're a scholar. Let me top it off, man. I would love to pick your brain. I think you're an awesome guy. Give me a call. I say this boldly. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, you wear the type of stuff that is kinda up my alley. Mythbusters. Both of you guys, all you guys wear glasses. You know what? Anybody Mythbusters. Carrie, I know you wear glasses. I love Transformers. Peter Cullen. Who doesn't want to fit Optimus Prime with glasses? That would be pretty cool. Call me. Call me, call me, call me. Last but not least, this is a frontier that you have crossed, and I know it can be done. I want to make glasses for Elton John. I'm very envious of your eyewear collection, and I would love to add to it. On a final note, I have to give thanks to 3 very important people in my life right now. They always say that behind every good man stands a very good woman. And I might not be a good man, but I'm lucky enough to have 3 who stood behind me through the whole journey. April, Valerie, and Diana. Each one of you knows who you are, and I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.